everyone. Welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Big Brother 22 All Stars. Tonight we're throwing things off a little bit. We're doing a recap and spoiler show for Big Brother All Stars. And Beth's got the shits, so she's not with us tonight. So in her place, we've got Matthew Dixon.
I'm channeling my inner Beth for
You've got 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I will mute a fucking mic.
Anyway, welcome, Matthew. Thanks for filling in last minute. Beth, we hope you feel better very soon. But we have some stuff to talk about tonight. Not really much going on in the show, but I think we're going to talk a lot about hypothetical situations going into this triple eviction coming up. And I can't wait to talk about all of that because I wrote down every single HOH, like who I think would be nominated and who I think would go home. So I can't wait to get into all of that. But I just got to say, watching this episode, I hate Christmas so much. She is such a I hate using this like brazen like language, but like she is such a fake ass racist bitch, and like I can't even like I don't know what else to call her because she's just so patronizing. Like she thinks she's like entitled to everything to the point where like she doesn't get picked for a competition for a veto today, and she like pitches this huge fit, and it's an entire segment on an all-star season of Big Brother. And it's just so infuriating. And I'm just so tired of it. I'm so tired of her talking to all the people of color with such a patronizing tone. I'm so tired of her like thinking that competitions are everything and what's supposed to be a mental game. And I'm sorry, I just have to start the show with that because like as the numbers dwindle and Christmas is getting more airtime, I'm just getting more irritated with it.
Well, Matt, how do you feel?
I mean, I do think Christmas acted like a brat this episode.
Yeah.
But because of the season she played on and how competitions were so important on that season, with Paul being the, puppet master, I can see why she feels like I need to win everything or I need to play in everything because that's what she's used to.
Yeah. She's used to playing in comps with broken limbs. And
she's used to having comps handed. She's used to having comps handed to her.
Yeah,
for sure.
It just frustrates me, and like since we don't have Beth tonight, I feel like I need to step in as the person that usually goes on rants about people because I feel like she's been doing such a great job of that this season. So I'm channeling my inner Beth tonight and using this as therapy to get us through the rest of the season. Valencia said, "Tyler like that."
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've got Valencia, Rory the Virgo, MJ, Chafe.
I hope
it's
I don't think it's Chafe,
but out of high school, don't ask me.
Yeah. All right. So Matt, we haven't I don't think we've been on a show together this season yet, right?
Not for Big Brother. No.
Okay. How are you feeling about the season overall? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's gotten really boring really fast.
That's an understatement.
Like that's me being generous. Like,
yeah.
This season has had so much potential for something, and every time someone has had the potential to do something, they have wasted it. And that's what annoys me out of an all-star season when you compare it to the great season we saw in Survivor.
Yeah.
Like these people are wasting so many opportunities to build a resume, to control the game, to control the narrative. And it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. I actually saw some clips on YouTube of Survivor winners at war and how like Rob and Amber like just like following their story over the years and just these like amazing characters that we saw that we never thought we would see again. And I can't believe that we go from winners at war and just the epicness of that to just this like collective dumpster fire of an all-star season. And I want to ask you, Matt, because I have some thoughts, but like, what do you think is like the root of the problem here? Like, where do you think that it went wrong with this season?
Casting a bunch of racists.
Yeah,
well, I mean that's literally this cast is filled up with people who are racist or have heavy microaggression issues that they don't want to resolve.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you cast if you remove maybe 3 people, like Christmas, Memphis, Cody, and replace them with, pretty much
with
any
Libra.
with Libra, with Steven, with Danielle Reyes, Josh, if he didn't have COVID, Casey. Like, there are so many people who you could have cast, and I believe the season would have been so much better. Hell, you could have cast Paul, and the season might have been better.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's where I'm sad that I have to say you could have cast Paul, and the season would have been better.
I never thought I would hear myself say that either. I don't know what my cat's doing. Oh, there's not. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's run its course. It was a nightmare. This episode was boring. I did not enjoy it. That was the most unnecessarily long veto competition I've ever seen in my life. I wanted to kick that OTEP in the balls. Just say, does this count as a sacrifice? I mean, does this veto if I rip his balls off? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It was
Literally,
so dumb. Yeah.
Literally, the only good thing that came out of veto, like that whole veto edit, was Tyler getting the cow and getting like Red in the diary room.
Oh, I love that.
Like, that's literally the only positive I took out of that veto competition. And that David is as dumb as I think he is.
And I mean, David, this is what I have been bitching about for fucking 8 weeks now, is the fact that he goes from having a good player mind and he's thinking and he's doing stuff to, I'm just going to take $10,000 over the veto. Okay? Anyway, is this a problem? Is this stupid? Anyone? Yes! It's ridiculous. You are an idiot.
I don't condone, and we see this like a bunch over the course of Big Brother history, like people playing for other stuff, like rather than winning the veto when they are on the block. And I just don't think that that's a risk I would ever take, no matter what position I found myself in. If I'm on the block, like we see pawns go home. And like when you are not the one influencing things at all, like what's stopping Cody from saying, listen, let's keep Kevin, let's take out David. Like David's getting in too tight with Tyler, too tight with Christmas. Like all these people, like people are using David a little bit more as like a pawn. Let's get him out. And the tides can turn so easily.
I think if you look at this,
talk about David anymore. It is killing me.
Well, this will be just the last thing I say about that individual. Is the girls should realize that he is going to make stupid things, do stupid things. Mm-hmm. Like Christmas wanted to save him, but like you should realize once someone takes $10,000 when like they're literally not out of the competition, Cody still had not found the correct t-shirt. You just don't do that when you're up for eviction.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah, I agree. I have no words. I have no words, Matt. I have no words, Allison, for just how terrible all of these all-stars are playing this season. And every week I come on this show and I say, like, listen, like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting when the committee has to turn on each other. Guess what? We're fast-forwarding through all of that with this triple eviction. So we don't even get the like giant payoff that we've all been waiting for literally like a month and a half, right? It's so frustrating.
2 things. 2. First of all, Memphis, you're a Tennessean. God damn it. Not a Floridian. Okay, I don't even want to hear it. You're from Tennessee. You're like me. Okay, you're a Tennessean. It is a thing. I don't care what anyone else says. Okay, like you're a New Yorker. Are you not, Tyler?
Right, but well, that's with an ER, so like the AN doesn't necessarily apply to like every state.
So you're a Yorkian. You're like
right.
a dog.
New Yorkian. But also, I'm from Maryland. I'm not a Marylandan. I'm a Marylander.
What are you, Matthew?
I mean, I was originally born in upstate New York, so I'm a part New Yorker, but I've lived in Wisconsin most of my life, so I'm a Wisconsinite.
You're a block. I thought that you were a blockhead. Jeez. Listen, I forgot what the second thing was. Oh, yeah, no, I did. But that was the one thing that kind of pissed me off, was that whole thing. And Memphis just does not give a shit anymore. Am I right? I mean, look, he's not shaving anymore. He's not cutting his hair anymore. He's running around in hoodies. He looks like the typical hipster dad who's now getting divorced.
Yeah, I agree. He's buying beer for his kids who are underage. Like, that's the cool dad that he wants to be, right?
Let's turn this into the movie Ma. Just come down and party in the basement.
I mean, Memphis doesn't have, like, he doesn't need to do anything because no one's coming after him.
Nobody.
Right? Like, literally, the only people who could have come after him are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, Cody, pretty much everyone should want to take Memphis to the end. Because no one on that jury is going to vote for him.
Yep.
Okay, I just want Shaft or Shafe. Listen, I don't know how to pronounce this. If you're from Mississippi, you're a Mississippian. That's what you are. I'm telling you, in the South, it's a Mississippian. If you're from Arkansas, you're just inbred. I'm sorry. You're not. You're whatever. But, it's just kind of whatever, some people. I'm going to regret that fucking statement. Okay, anyway.
Okay. So before we start talking about the player ratings, I have a few things some talking points that I found really interesting from this episode, because I'll admit I haven't been watching the feeds as much because they are just like watching paint dry. It is not that fun of an experience anymore. Sorry. If they want to cast people that can entertain me and the rest of America, then please, by all means, do your job casting. So I just have what's going off of the episode. But what really surprised me was how Nicole was really turning on Danny. And I don't think it's the right move yet for her specifically. Nicole, think of the people that are in jury, right? Nicole has Ian in jury who she fucked over. She has Davon in jury who she fucked over. Is Danny ever putting up Nicole? No. And I feel like Nicole has to look at the writing on the wall and see that she had to fold and let her allies go home in Ian, in Davon, people that were maybe not working with her 100%, but we're not going to put her on the block anytime soon. She has to realize that she keeps folding for these guys. Once Danny's gone, who's going to really go out on a limb for her? I feel like Nicole is the next one clipped if Danny goes home. And it's just stupid. It's way too early to be turning on her. And listen, she talks about how Danny is playing very erratically. Bring her to final 2 and beat her, if anything, right?
I think Nicole is on. I was a little, as much as I hate Nicole, she did say something tonight along the lines of, I'm done playing her game to keep her safe and making decisions to keep her safe. That is the smartest thing I've heard Nicole fucking Franzel say this whole 8 weeks. I mean, seriously, she needs to start. And plus her falling during OTAB made my life. It just made my whole life. And just, I don't know, I'm kind of, this was the second thing. They know there's a triple tomorrow.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
So with the Danny thing,
okay,
go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. So I agree. It's smart for her to be thinking that, but I think that the timing is really bad. I think if she was going to do this, she should have turned on Danny before Ian and Davon went home. She needed those 2 people in her pocket. If you look at all the pieces left on the board, who's really going to bat for Nicole? Cody? No, because Cody has these guys that he's working with before Nicole. Christmas? No, Christmas is always going to be more loyal to Tyler, to Enzo, to Memphis. All these people, Nicole is really shooting herself in the leg by taking out all these people that are working with her. And I don't think it's good. And she's doing it in an ugly way. She's doing it in a way that leaves people with a bitter taste in their mouth going into jury. So I don't know what the hell she's thinking. This is the only former winner in the house. You would think that she would be thinking a little bit better about these scenarios moving forward. Scenarios.
Scenarios. Where's Will? Where's Dr. Will? He just moves in and we see him one time. What is the deal with that?
I think he just got a big fat check to just like stand there in a robe, but terrible twist.
I mean, it's not the first time they've like said, "Here's a twist," and like dropped it. Like, 24 hours later.
Yeah, right. But I didn't expect Dr. Well to get the BB takeover of it all. You know what I mean? But you know how they ditched that like twist like 3 weeks in and like never said why? It just kind of disappeared as it should have gone. I didn't expect that for Dr. Will. And honestly, this twist like didn't impact the game too much at all, except for Christmas getting pissed that David won 10,000 instead of playing in the veto comp. But like, is that worth a Dr. Will visit? I don't think so. So yeah, we have a comment in the chat. Grodner has ruined BB. Sad but true. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole. Anyway, we'll get to it.
So yeah, let's get into it. So they know about the triple. Production has given them hints in the diary room. I don't like it. I feel like that's like breaking the integrity of the game. Should they be expecting a double by now? Of course. But like, have they ever had a triple eviction in Big Brother US? No. So the fact that like Christmas is coming out of the diary room, the mastermind, the strategic mastermind Christmas is coming out of the diary room saying, yeah, maybe there's a triple. She did not come up with that idea on her own.
Oh, no, there's no way. What a coincidence.
Right. Seriously? There's no politics.
It's not like Christmas is a BB Can fan who would be like, oh, triple eviction.
Yeah. Well, she's clearly not a BB.
I still want to know how they're going to do the triple eviction. Is it going to be like 2 weeks fast forward, or is it going to be 3 people on the block and you vote to save?
I think it's going to be a double because it's a 2-hour show tomorrow. So it's going to be
I hope so. But this season has let me down so much that I don't want to get my hopes up.
And this is what sucks, guys, is that like because they know that like there's a triple coming. How great would it have been if they did like the double eviction and like they thought that was it, and then Julie says, "All right, everybody, come to the living room," and then she says, "All right, we're doing this all over again." What a delicious scramble that would be, right? But we don't get that because they're all expecting it now.
I'm so angry about this whole thing. Like, I was excited about the triple, and then I made the mistake of getting on Twitter, which I don't do a lot of, today when I was posting of the link to the show, and I saw it, and I was like, why would you tell them? I can see hints of a double, duh. But why would you give them that opportunity? They need to have the shock. And I just want to give a shout out to Enzo tonight, who I just loved, who pointed out tonight that like, you know, you have to, everybody has to touch the block except me because because it's me. I'm great.
Because I'm playing better than everybody else, and honestly, he's not wrong about that.
And he's not wrong. It's just don't let Enzo get in the triple tomorrow. That's really all I care about.
I would say Enzo is one of the people who's most likely to leave during the triple.
Do you think so? Really?
I think because here's why. The wrong person will win in he'll be in the second, he'll be the third person evicted.
I don't think so at all, Matt. I think
because someone is going to win HOH
Enzo's
and they're doing something stupid. And you know people are going to do stupid things.
Well, they already are doing stupid.
I don't think so. I see Cody going in the triple before I see Enzo going.
Oh,
I could see Cody, because the committee is going to have to turn on each other. And honestly, I think both HOHs are going to leave either David or Kevin alone because there's no point in nominating David or Kevin again. Like,
Matt,
what are they going to do?
I will give you a one-way bet here. I will give you $20 if Enzo goes home in the triple. That's how
Allison,
confident
Allison, I am. I know you run CBS All Access. Can you get that to happen for me? With all that you pay for,
Enzo is untouchable in the triple. I got
debt collectors calling me from CBS All Access because I can't make my payments. So I don't think you want me contacting CBS. Were the feeds down all day today?
I haven't checked the feeds today, so I'm not sure.
I didn't look at the feeds today. I had biology homework to do.
I honestly don't think Enzo's going in the triple. I mean, Memphis made those 2 final 3 deals with the wise guys. And what did Enzo do to put himself in a power position? He went to Cody and told him about the deal. So now Enzo is the one that's like in the middle, in the power position for both of these final 3 deals. I mean, Enzo is so good at socially maneuvering himself with these people. And guess what? Now Cody is like more loyal to Enzo because Enzo shared this information with him. And now it causes a rift between Cody and Christmas. So like, there are so many ways that like Enzo just totally like made a boss move here out of like such a little thing, out of such a stupid thing that Memphis did. And before Enzo went to Cody and told him this, I thought Memphis was doing really well. But now it just kind of, it loses validity. It makes him seem like he's like playing too hard. And like trying to make all these digs in the committee alliance. So I don't know. Like I thought that Memphis was doing pretty well, but now I think Enzo is in that power position.
Oh God, I don't see Enzo, Memphis, or Cody leaving tomorrow. I feel like it's going to be David. It'll be David, Christmas, and Nicole. David.
Oh, so you're expecting David to be the first evictee and not Kevin?
Wait a minute. Who's going?
We can count Kevin out going into this triple. He is like most certainly going.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking straight. Okay, so
that's why it was like when Allison was like David, I was like, oh, she thinks Kevin has a hope.
No, so Kevin is going, right?
Yeah.
So Kevin is going, and then so the other 2 I think are definitely going to be David and Christmas, David or Nicole, David or I mean, what else? Dan. I just cannot see a world where Enzo goes. Enzo was telling David, that's it, yo. I got your back. I want to shake things up. I don't want you and Kevin to go, yo, that's it. And, and he's talking to Memphis and he's talking to Cody. I could see Danny really hasn't won anything but one HOH. I mean, I can't see her putting up. I mean, I could see her doing it, but I can't see her winning it to do it. I can't see Nicole winning anything to do anything either. I can't see them winning shit.
So I'll tell you right now, Danny has to win one competition in both rounds to stay. She is in hot water, and the sad part is that she doesn't even know it. And I feel like she is so like traumatized from Big Brother 13, and she thinks that flipping on that power alliance in Big Brother 13, it was very rootable from us at home, but it really fucked up her game. And I think that she is so scared to make that power move and flip on the alliance this time that, ironically enough, it's the detriment of her game this time. To the fact that even Nicole is like burying her. Like with Christmas, she went to Christmas and said, listen, like Danny's talking about you, like I'm here for you, but she's not. That is like the fact that like Nicole of all people is her, one of her like best friends in real life, is turning on Danny. And she doesn't even know it. And it's so frustrating because she's like overcorrecting what she, like her mistake in Big Brother 13.
Like I'm so okay. We need to make some before we get into rankings. So if Enzo goes in the triple, you're wearing the doo-doo hat.
Yeah, I will wear the doo-doo hat.
And he owes me $20.
Yeah, like, I will. I'm okay with both of those.
Via Facebook app, via Facebook Messenger, he's shoot $20 over to Matthew.
I am on air telling the camera, I will give Matthew Henning $20 and I will wear the doo-doo hat if Enzo goes home in the triple.
You don't have to wear it the whole time. You just have to open the video with the doo-doo hat on and talk about how horrible you are. And
I mean, like I can understand why you believe Enzo won't leave. And like I totally understand that from a logical standpoint. It's just doubles and triples never play out logically. They
don't have time to think about it.
Yeah, because people don't have time to think and plan, sometimes stuff just comes out your mouth.
Yes.
So all you have to do is say the wrong thing if you're Enzo to the wrong person, and he's done.
I want to hear the situation, Matt, where Enzo goes home.
Yeah, give us that scenario.
The situation that Enzo goes home is if he's sitting on the block with Cody. Because Cody has more loyal people to him I feel, then Enzo. Like, I think the girls would save Cody over Enzo. Like, I think Nicole and Danny would save Cody over Enzo. I don't know who the HOH is that would put them both up, or might be forced to put them both up, depending upon how veto and bullshit goes. I think Tyler.
Thing, like, how did they go on the block together?
That's a great question that I don't have an answer to at this moment in time, but I'll figure it out eventually.
Sure. All right.
But
well,
like Tyler, I think is more loyal to Cody too. I think there are more people who are loyal to Cody that if it's a Cody versus Enzo, Enzo leaves.
Sure.
Enzo's in so many alliances. He even said tonight, I'm in so many alliances, I can't even remember the names.
I mean, like, even like worst case scenario where like David wins HOH, or not worst case, I mean like the most chaotic scenario where David wins HOH. I think that he just puts up Memphis and Danny, two people that like have put him on the block previously. I think it's as simple as that.
Who hasn't put David on the block yet?
Right.
It's so
Like,
old to put David on the block. I just can't.
Of all the people who
remember.
are left in the house, Cody's put him on the block, Danny's put him on the block, Memphis has put him on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Did Tyler put him on? No, Tyler didn't put him on the block.
I think out of those three people, Cody has done the best job with that relationship to recover from that. So I think it would be Danny and Memphis on the block. But I think we will get into the player rankings here. And I think the best way to do this is once we get to them, like, let's talk about their HOH scenario, if we will quote the Puppet Master.
Scenario.
So we will get into their scenario of if they win HOH, what will they do with it? So we will start with Christmas. Allison, what's your rating for Christmas for the week?
God, I don't know. I'm so all over the place with Christmas. I kind of wish Dr. Will would check her Botox injections on her upper lip because they're getting on my nerves. But other than that, I don't know how I feel about her gameplay right now. Because she pitched a fit. Okay, well, call me if I'm a replacement nom, and if not, then call me on Thursday. Bitch, you get a 3. That's silly. Preschool. I don't need it. But I'm not mad at anybody. Sit down. Yes, you are. Just no. Take that gag that you're putting over your face, put it in your mouth. Please.
Yep. I totally. So you said a 3?
Yes.
All right, Matt, what do you think?
I'm kind of with Allison. I would give her a 3 because, like, literally there was no point in throwing that bitch fit.
None.
Like, there's no strategy involved. I think it hurts you in the eyes of other people. People wanted to backdoor you. Like, your Christmas's stock has fallen hard. And I don't see it. I don't see a rebound for her.
Yes, I totally agree. I think that I'm going to give Christmas a 4 because I still think that there are people in front of her that will go, but I think that her time is coming sooner rather than later. I could see Christmas going out in the second part of the triple, which gives me a little bit more hope for her that she will survive this triple, considering that like the area of opportunity for her to go home is more narrow than somebody like Danny. So I want to talk about Christmas's HOH in the triple. So let's say she wins the HOH. Either or. I'm just going through like the first one, like the first round, because we don't know if there will be a second round or like we don't know how it's structured and we don't know who will go home. So I'm just going through the first one. So I think with the Christmas HOH, she puts up Danny and David. And I think that Danny is evicted. I don't see, like, I see everybody, a spoiler, I think David survives this triple no matter what. I think that people just see him as way too valuable of a piece to get rid of so quickly in this triple.
If David I will make a wager.
Sure.
Robert Tyler, I will make a wager. Wager.
All right.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will make a wager. If David makes it through the triple, Allison will wear the doo-doo headband and remain on mute for the first 15 minutes of the show tomorrow night.
Wow. The first 15 minutes.
That's better than money.
That's a pretty tempting offer. Not going to lie.
I'm serious. because I just don't see it.
I think people see him as a valuable piece to pick up, and that piece.
I'll talk about David and how I see him when we do his rankings next.
Sure.
Okay.
So, but I think that Danny is evicted. I think that's pretty easy to conclude as well. It's just way too tempting for everybody. I mean, Tyler's going to take a shot at her. Cody's going to take a shot at her. Nicole certainly is, especially with Christmas as
Nicole
HOH.
doesn't have the balls to take a shot at Danny.
I think she would. I think she would. And then I think she would lie about that vote, just like she has been all season long. All right, so let's talk about it. So Matt, go ahead and give us your score on David. What are your thoughts?
1.
A 1.
A 1.
Okay, gotcha.
That's really being generous. If you take $10,000 when you're on the block, and you're in the veto competition, you're a complete Nimrod. You don't deserve the fact that people aren't going to evict him because he's that big of a Nimrod. Kind of upsets me. I think I do agree with Tyler. I think he'll make it through this triple because he's a Nimrod. And people want this idiot sitting next to them. Like, he's not a threat to anyone because he's going to keep doing stupid things. And that's the end of it.
It's like another reality show within a reality show. You have Big Brother and then you have the David show going on at the same time. What shit is he going to do to survive? How is this happening?
David is like he's in the Truman Show, if you ever saw that movie.
Yes.
Where like everyone else is actors and David is the only real person.
That is so true. That is such a good analogy.
Like that's the only explanation I have for David at this point.
Okay.
Allison, what do you think?
Oh,
I'm gonna go last for everyone, just so I can talk about their HOH.
I'm not happy about the 10 grand thing, but then again, he's been on the block so much. I could kind of understand why he did it. 10 grand is a lot of money. That's definitely a lot of money to me. Of course, after taxes, but anyway, I got to go with Matthew here. 1. I'm just not happy with it. Not happy with him this week. He did a total 180. I'm just not happy. Not.
So the other thing I want to add to that, because Allison made like the $10,000 point, he would have knocked Cody out of the competition. Like the HOH would have been out. Right. And the odds of someone using the veto on you, if you don't win it and you know where that $10,000 shirt is and you leave that for like next round.
Yes.
Like,
if you know where that $10,000 shirt is and you're at the point where you know your ass is going to be last up there, just grab the damn $10,000. That's when it's okay. That's when you grab the shirt. Okay? That's kind of how I feel.
Or you leverage it as like a, you know where the $10,000 shirt is. Maybe you hit it because you hoped you'd be able to go back for it.
Right.
You could yell out, the $10,000 is over there, and someone would have run over and grabbed it. And maybe, you would have bought Goodwill.
That's right.
All right. So I think it's important for me to define like how I'm like what I'm ranking them on, and what I am ranking them on is like positioning in the house. And for this week in particular, their odds, their chances of getting through the triple. I think David will do that, but my question is like, where does David go after that triple? And it's hard for me to find a position for him in the house that's not just a pawn to be thrown around from person to person to person. That's where I am with it. So because of that, I'm going to give him a 3. And just because I don't think he's going home tomorrow. That's like basically it. I think with his HOH, if he were to win it in the triple, like I said, I think he would put up Memphis and Danny. And I think that's another scenario where Danny is evicted. Memphis has done a really great job, like kind of laying out his end game, at least in his mind. But the relationships are there. the relationships are there that Danny doesn't have. And we'll get to her next, so we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I think that's what happens. Danny goes out on David's HOH. All right, Allison, let's hear your thoughts on Danny.
I loved the psychotic close-up of Danny tonight during the episode when they were talking about her, and it was just her kind of staring like crazy like, and she's not. It was just the way to edit. You know what I'm talking about? It was just great. I think Danny has only herself to blame for how her game has blown up. And the sad thing is she doesn't know how much it has blown up, obviously, because she doesn't know what we know, which is understandable. But it's just, I'm sorry, I'm giving her a 1. I mean, it's just done. It's over. But then again, y'all, I feel like she's going to make it through the triple. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I got my spidey senses are tingling over here. The fly swatter is going crazy over here when it comes on me. I'm just, I
mean, riddle me this. That's best case scenario for TV purposes, right? If Danny makes it through this triple.
Do you really think production isn't going to tailor to some kind of veto comp or HOH comp that doesn't cater to her?
Listen, she's one of the veto queens of Big Brother.
How many vetoes has she won this season?
None.
Okay.
But
one.
It's at Big Brother 13, she certainly won crucial comps where she would have gone home multiple times. Right. So I think that this is the Danny that's best, is the Danny that is scrappy when she's in trouble. The problem is she doesn't know that she's in trouble. And that's where I just want to like shake her and say like, bring back the black hair dye. Like, we need that Danny back in this house. Right. Matt, sorry, go ahead. What's your ranking?
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give her 3.
Okay.
The reason being is she wants to make the move. It's just no one else around her wants to make the move.
Mm-hmm.
And I give her at least some credit for trying to make the move and trying to convince Cody to backdoor Christmas. Like,
but do you think? But I'm sorry, Matthew, I'm not trying to. But do you think? I'm trying to trump you right now. But you know, do you think that she's trying to get other people to do her work though, and that's why it's blowing up in her face?
I mean, she can't do it herself because she's not winning.
Okay.
She took the shot with putting up Tyler when she had to nominate multiple people.
Right.
Like, she's shown that she's willing to do it if given the opportunity. It's just no one else is willing to follow through with her.
Okay.
And that's what's like hurting her game. Yes, Nicole is valuing Christmas in the game more than Danny in the game. But I think if, let's say, Danny wins HOH, Nicole will completely 180 her position on Danny.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's why I think that Nicole is having these conversations in private instead of just like blowing up her spot with Danny, just in case Danny wins. But I agree with you guys. Like, I think that if anybody can win like a Hail Mary comp win in this triple, I think Danny is one of those people. So for that reason, I want to give her a 1, but I'm going to give her a 2 because I think she could win one of these comps. The problem is she has, like I said, she has to win 2 because she is so vulnerable in every situation. Basically, it's I mean, spoiler alert for like my scenarios that I have written up here, but Danny goes home in a lot of them. But let's talk about a Danny HOH. Who do you guys think Danny puts up if she wins HOH?
David is gonna go up.
No.
And you don't think David will go up? I think David's going to go up.
Not in Danny's HOH.
Okay. Jesus, I don't know. I think she's going to put up Christmas. Mm-hmm. She's definitely going to put up Christmas. I think she'll put up David and Christmas. And I think, once again, David will survive and Christmas will go.
I think she's putting up, I agree with you. She's probably putting up Christmas, but I also think she's putting up Tyler.
That's what I think, Matt.
I think she, Tyler? Yeah. And Tyler won't, like, that's a situation where Tyler can't even get mad about it.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna, like, because David is staying and because David is such a non-threat to everyone now, like, I think all of the committee knows they have to go after one of the strongest people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And why not take the shot when it's like not that blood on their hands? It's on Danny's hands, right? And I think that I think that would be a really good resume thing for Danny. And I think if Christmas and Tyler are up together, I think Tyler goes home pretty easily. So I think like that is one of the situations where I think Tyler would go, as if Danny wins HOH, and that's a big blind spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, so let's hear Cody. What do you think?
Ignoring all the stupid stuff he said in the HOH room about states, I'm gonna give Cody a 6 for the week because there is no blood on his hands. Yes, he did the very painfully obvious thing, but it looks like he's gonna get his way. Kevin is going to be gone. I don't see him leaving in this triple because I think he has enough people who are more loyal to him than someone sitting next to him potentially. I mean, I think he had a pretty solid week. It's not like anything monumental to give him like an 8, 9, or 10, or even a 7. But I'm not going to give him a 5 because I don't think it was like an average week. I think it was like a little bit better. That's really about it.
Allison, what do you think?
I am going to give him a 5, and this is why. Because he took the easy way out. He put up Kevin and David. These two guys are not threats. It's silly. And, if you really wanted to get out of threat and really make a move, he should have used the veto. He could have used the veto. He could have backdoored a real threat to his game. And Enzo has said it over and over again. Shit is getting real. People are going to have to start taking. What are people going to do when Kevin and David are gone? You're not going to have these two to fall back on anymore. This would have been the perfect time to take a shot because then you could reel in David and Kevin as numbers for you. Look, I don't want to give a fuck. I don't want to hear anything about the committee, the wise guys, the faux pad or whatever the fuck your names are. I don't know what their faux taste. I don't care. It's just over. It's go time. It's time to really make these decisions. It's all stars. It's not almost all stars. It's just time. And you had a chance to get numbers and you did. Hey, fuck it. Make that a 4 because now I'm angry. Now
all right. Tyler, can you answer me a question? Just because I did watch the streams. Did the house guests basically get told about the triple pre or post veto?
I think it was post veto because apparently it was Dr. Will that came on the Big Brother screen for Tracy Burke said Dr. Will was on Big Brother screen for 15 seconds yesterday, giving a clue 3 steps ahead.
Okay, because if it was pre veto, I would drop him down to a 5. But because it's post veto, he doesn't want the blood on his hands of having to do the backdoor right before as they've assumed, a triple eviction.
I mean, I can understand not wanting to get blood on your hands earlier in the game, but dude, we're 2 weeks away from a winner.
Yeah. I think if he had not been told it's a triple eviction, like they just assumed it was a double, maybe he takes the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with the triple being sprinkled in, I think it may have reined him in a little.
Yeah. So I'm kind of leaning towards Allison's score here, but I don't think I'm going to go down that far. I will say though, Cody's fumbled a couple of things this week. And what I think is the main thing is jury management. He's sending Kevin out the door, but he's not making Kevin feel good about it at all. Yes, like him and Kevin like made up after that fight, but in my opinion, the damage is still done. We're still seeing Kevin say in the diary room, like, God, Cody just sucks. And I kind of agree. This is what happens when you put Cody in without a Derek to really help him out strategically, help him out thinking long-term in terms of like how you treat people in this game and not letting things get to you. That's certainly a lesson that Derek could have given him, but he didn't really listen. And I feel like Cody is set up so well with pre-existing relationships, probably more than anybody in this house. And yet, like with Danny probably going out the door, maybe Nicola as well. I feel like the people that would go to bat for him are going to be gone after this week. So I wouldn't be surprised if like after the triple is where like Enzo starts looking at Cody as more of a threat instead of an ally. And I don't think that Cody has the strategic wherewithal to consider that. And I think that Danny is probably going to be a little pissed at Cody if he has any involvement with getting her out. I just there's some troubling spots I see. So I'm gonna, and I've been rating him high like all season long, but I think I'm gonna go with a 5 this week for Cody.
Hey, Rory the Virgo had a good question. 3 steps ahead would be a reference to Tyler/Angela's veto meeting speeches of the BB20 double, right?
Perception is reality. The house guests aren't perceiving it that way. So, and also like Tyler's not that special that he gets like a shout out from Dr. Will like that, in my opinion. I haven't heard anybody talk about that being a reference or anything. So I don't think that's the case. All right, Matt, let's hear your thoughts on Kevin.
1. Just 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
But are you giving him a 1 or his blankie? I mean, you've got to kind of like, what
I'm giving the blankie a 3. I'm giving Kevin a 1. I feel like the blankie has played a better game this week. I think Kevin, I had high hopes for Kevin coming into the season, and they have just slowly done that like crash.
Yeah.
And he could have played this week so much better.
Yeah.
And you can just see he's over it.
Yep.
Like, he was nominated for the 5th time? Yeah, 5th
it's
time.
either 4th or 5th.
I think he was nominated 4 times. This is his 5th time being nominated. Like, he has to be over it. I would be over it if I was nominated almost every single goddamn week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really have nothing more to say, and I don't even have like a HOH scenario for him because he's certainly one of so it's a 1.
I mean, unless something happens on the feeds tomorrow where like David keeps stepping in it over and over and over again, I don't see it changing.
Yeah.
I feel like if Danny and Nicole were smart, they would try to make it change, because I think Kevin would be a reliable ally to those 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they have the cojones to make that change.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm giving him a 1 as well. Allison, any more thoughts on Kevin? What's your score?
You know how much I love Kevin. I'm not going to give him a 1. Okay. We learned a lot about Kevin tonight. I had no idea he was half Black and half Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised by that. I had no idea, and I mean, it kind of touched me a little bit to hear him talking about that, and how, you know, he was like, I'm half Black too, and just because I don't look like it, I wasn't considered in the same category as David and, you know, Davon and Bailey. Yeah, I mean, and I felt kind of bad for him, but you know, I was interested. I enjoy hearing those kind of stories. Where I am in Memphis, I don't meet a lot of people like that. So for me, it was. I like to hear those kind of stories.
Yeah,
I'm going to give him a 4.
Oh, okay.
I don't, and that's combined for him and his Binky. So Binky and Kevin get a 4. He really tried during the veto. He really did try. He didn't shut down and go for the money. And I think that I don't think he has given up. I think he's really trying, but I think his trying has gassed out, and it's not as much as it was before. So that's why I'm giving him a 4. But there's no HOH scenario, okay?
No, we don't even have to do that.
Like, the fight's been beating so much out of him.
Yeah.
Like, just his body language, even before the veto.
Yeah.
You can see it's like, I just don't want to do this.
And I don't blame him. That's the sad part. I don't blame him.
Maybe if you put a wig on sooner and become Anita Vito, and like,
yeah, we never saw that.
Anita Vito. I haven't even seen her.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about Tyler Crispin. Who went first last time? Okay, so Allison, go first. Let's hear your thoughts on Tyler.
I just don't have any thoughts on Tyler. I really want him to go in the triple. I really need it to go. He's like the new Paul for me. I'm just over it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you name your freaking cow Mulan? That is so dumb. Okay? Mulan is a sword fighting Disney princess, not a fucking cow. Okay? Get a one. Just based on that idiocracy. Done. Nothing else to say.
All right. Matt, what do you think?
I'm going to give him a 4.
Okay.
Because he picked up $5,000 in the HOH competition that he clearly didn't think he needed to win, and obviously didn't when Cody won it.
And he's giving it to Angela.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to Angela, but, like, he didn't do anything to hurt himself.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really do anything to help himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like, 4 seems like a happy number.
Yeah.
If you don't penalize him for his bad hair and his shitty puns.
I didn't even bring up the hair tonight. Nothing.
I'm going to also give him a 4, just because I think that he's more than capable of winning one of these comps in the triple eviction coming up. So that's certainly a way to get out of the mess that he's in. But I do see 2 situations where he gets taken out. Of course, one I said was if Danny wins HOH. And another, I think if Nicole wins HOH, I think that ultimately leads to Tyler being evicted. We'll talk about that when we get to her next. But like there are some weak spots for him. And also, I just think that he's drawing dead in terms of like winner's equity in this game. And you know how like Ian was kind of drawing dead for a little bit there, like a few weeks before he got evicted. That's how I'm feeling about Tyler this season, and like his placement right now. Christmas is in some trouble, depending on like if something funky happens with Vito. And I think if that happens, he's in even worse trouble. So there are certainly ways that he could.
I was wondering if you saw that, Allison, so I was going to mention it if you didn't.
That's funny. I agree.
I mean, that was literally the highlight of the Vito competition was the cow.
Yeah. How far we've come for Big Brother. And that's the highlight of the episode. But yeah, so I'm giving him a 4, which averages us out to a 3 for Tyler. I think that his HOH looks like Danny and Nicole on the block together. And I think Danny is evicted there.
I don't think he's putting up Nicole.
Who do you think he would put up?
I think he would put up Memphis. I just don't see him putting up Nicole.
Do you think Christmas would let him put up Memphis?
Tyler's going to do what Tyler wants to do if he doesn't have time to think about it. And, like, you know, if he wants Danny gone, I think Nicole might not necessarily be the person to put up against, like, Danny. Because people could be like, she's a winner, let's get rid of her. Enzo could easily apply that logic.
Yes, but I still think that Danny goes home there. Like the damage is like way too done for her.
I foresee in all situations, unless Danny's HOH, that she's winning that first veto, and then all hell breaks loose.
That would be awesome. I would love that. Please manifest that.
I mean, I'm trying. I'm like, I need something to happen. Like literally, if like David was on the block with like some random person and Danny wins veto and takes David down, the game blows so wide open.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Danny has to win the comp, like for the like saving like whatever is left of the season requires Danny to win like one or both of these comps.
She needs to win both vetoes. I wouldn't want her winning HOH.
Yeah.
I would much rather her win both vetoes and then win the HOH after. That's the only fucking way we're saving this goddamn season.
Yeah.
It's so true.
So speaking of how shitty this season is, Matt, let's hear your thoughts on Nicole Franzel. How would you rate her?
Do I be objective or do I be Allison?
It is your score and replace the bets this week. So whatever Matthew Dixon wants to score.
I have to try to balance it with, like, I want to give her a 0 because I can't stand her. But if I'm being objective, like Beth would want me to be objective in her stead, I'm going to give her a 4.
Okay.
I think she built up some equity with Christmas. She's not taking the shot at Danny, and Danny's not taking the shot at her. I don't think she's the first name on everyone's like priority list to get out the door. I mean, like she's in the same boat as I put Tyler. Like, didn't really do a whole lot this week to wreck her game, but she didn't do a whole lot to make her game super better.
Do you think Nicole puts up Danny on the block?
No.
If she wins the triple? I don't think so either.
No. Like Allison said, Nicole's not going to take that shot.
What if something funny happens with Vito?
She's still not going to take that shot.
I think she might if something funky happens with Vito.
Like, I'll talk about what I think Nicole would do with HOH.
Sure.
I think she's putting up David.
Allison's hiding behind the fly swatter.
she's putting up someone like David, and she might put up Tyler next to David because she might think those two are linked.
That's so Matt, for my prediction for Nicole's HOH, I actually said David and Tyler. So I think you're right on the money there. And I think that's the other situation where Tyler gets evicted over David. I really, really do. I think that David is safe, like no matter what in this triple. Maybe if he's up against Enzo, but I don't see any situation where those two people are on the block together. So Allison, what are your thoughts on Nicole Franzel?
She ain't gonna do shit. She isn't gonna take a chance. She's not gonna do anything. She's getting a 0. That's it. I have nothing. She's not going to take a chance. She's not going to take it. We're going to have to look at that who farted on constipated face all during the triple eviction. She's not going to do anything. She's going to look for exactly. Wolf, bitch. That's what's going to happen because she's not going to do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right. Exactly.
I love this gift so much.
She's not going to do anything. She's not going to take a chance. Yeah. Nothing at all. And I mean, she's done. I mean, she's done nothing this game except backstab her friends and the people that could have furthered her in this game. I hope she gets out tomorrow night. I hope she gets what's coming to her. All right. I hope she gets it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying.
I now have a question. I have a question for you, Tyler.
Yeah.
If let's say Nicole wins HOH and she puts up David and Tyler, and David comes down by like Danny's hands for shits and giggles, who's Nicole's replacement nominee?
Memphis.
See, that's where I think Enzo goes up. Because I think Memphis is someone you carry more than you can carry Enzo.
Sure. So it would be Enzo and Tyler on the block together. I think Tyler easily goes home in that situation. Easily.
Look, if she does anything tomorrow night, I will add 10 minutes to me not saying shit during the first part of tomorrow night's show. That's 25 minutes of not having to hear my mouth.
I think she could. The only way she makes a move as an HOH is if she's forced to make the move.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with Allison. She's not going to take the shot herself unless she's forced to make the shot.
Yeah.
And I could see like Danny using a veto on someone like David and being like, guess what?
Yeah.
Nicole, I tried to get you to make the shot once. Now I want you to make the shot.
Roy the Virgo says she only cares about her wedding. She didn't come here to make friends. True to that. So I'm going to give Nicole. This is so tough because
it's not tough. It's easy.
I'm going to give her a 3. I can't score her lower than Danny in terms of just like positioning for this week in particular. But I don't see any path for her to win a jury with how she has fucked these people over. And she's not even halfway through the jury yet, right?
The only way she wins a jury vote is if she's against David.
And she's fucked this jury like it's her exes in there.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, she's just like, she has totally folded for these guys like so many times and given up people that were working with her and for her And she's had to really backstab them in an ugly way. I mean, Davon called it out in front of the entire house. That's not a good look. And people remember that stuff. And it just baffles me that like the only former winner left here in this Big Brother All-Star season isn't thinking about the jury vote and isn't realizing that like the damage is done already. Like people see Nicole and Danny together. So you can try all you want to work on Christmas. But all you're doing is fumbling your relationship with yet another person who is working with you, but you are getting them out. When these guys
I think Christmas stole Nicole's game.
I agree.
She turned on the girls, aligned with the guys, and is doing it better than Nicole because she doesn't have to try to sleep with them.
That's a really excellent point, Matt.
Nicole F, the F for the Nicole F stands for Frady Cat.
I thought it was going to stand for something else.
What kind of show do you think this is?
My Weekly Meltdown.
This is family friendly.
We are not family friendly. All right. So I forget who went first last time. Who wants to talk about Memphis? Go ahead.
Okay.
Matt, Allison, go ahead.
I love Memphis. I don't care what anybody says. The guy's just laying back. He ain't going in the triple. If anything, I feel he's going to win a veto or an HOH in the damn thing. He's not on anyone, I don't know the correct way to say it, radar. I mean, he's just not. And I'm going to give him a 6 for that. I mean, it's just, he's not going anywhere. This guy is not going anywhere. And I mean, he's just not. That's it. That's it, yo. That's all I got.
That's it, yo. That's it. Matt Henning, what do you have to say?
I agree with Allison. I'm giving him a 6. I don't like him as a person, but if I'm thinking of him as a player, no one wants him gone. He can win competitions because he's won 3 of them. Like, yes, he could very well easily win one of the 2 HOHs or one of the 2 vetoes and do something crazy if he wanted to. I don't think he'll do anything crazy. He'll nominate David and use the veto on David to try to nominate David again. But, like, he's not going. He's just not.
He has proven time and time again he is going to do what he wants to do. He's not playing anybody's game but Memphis's game, and that's it. I mean, he's not going to sit there during the panic and the chaos of this triple. I don't think he's going to panic. I think he's going to be calm, and if he's going to do what he wants to do.
And that's why I think he can win a comp in this triple situation, because he's going to be calm.
Right.
He's not going to be like, oh my God, I could go up on the block. No, he's going to be like, I'll win a comp.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a situation where Memphis would go. I can see a situation where he gets put on the block if veto's used. So say like Danny wins HOH and she puts up Christmas and Tyler, right? Say Tyler wins veto. I think Danny probably puts up Memphis there. Or David, I don't know. But maybe Memphis. But like even in that situation, Christmas and Memphis, I think Christmas goes home. I totally agree with what the both of you are saying. I think that he's just going to skate by this triple, no matter who wins power, no matter who's taken out. And I don't see his positioning getting much worse depending on, like, no matter who goes home, which in my opinion, it's either Danny or Tyler going on in the first round. Most likely Danny. So, and does that hurt Memphis's game at all? No. My only concern is, like, can he win this game? And part of me says yes, part of me says no. It really is going to depend on, like, who he's sitting next to. I wish that Memphis realized that he should take David to final 2. He shouldn't be trying so hard to actively take him out of this game when David is easily his best chance to win a jury vote. And Memphis wants so bad to win this jury vote, right? Because he lost 0-7 to Dan in his original season. Like, he wants to play this game and say, like, I am a capable player. It was not all Dan in Big Brother 10. It was me too. So yeah,
I do know how Memphis leaves this week. It is on a David HOH if he nominates Danny and Cody. Danny takes herself down. He's going to put up Memphis.
Right.
And then Memphis will lose a vote to Cody. Even though he really shouldn't lose that vote to Cody because Cody is the huge threat. But that is the only way I see Memphis leaving this week is if he's sitting on the block next to Cody.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think David would. I don't think I still, Matt. I don't think that David puts up Cody initially. I think it's Memphis and Danny. So Danny
takes herself down. He's putting up Cody because he's going to be like, these are the three people who have nominated me for eviction who are still in the house. One of you can leave.
So because of that, I'm also going to give him a 6. So 6 is
across
the board.
I feel like that's a fitting, score across the board.
6, 6, 6.
Yeah, very 2020 of us.
That's a different EM. That's a Damium.
No, I think Memphis puts up Danny and David. And I think Danny is evicted there. Even though Memphis wants David to go there, I think Danny will go. Matt, let's hear your thoughts on Enzo.
5. Like, he's playing the perfect middle game when you've reached a point 2 weeks ago that you kind of have to move yourself out of the middle. Because he's not building a jury resume. Like, the people he's evicted, like, he doesn't really have a pre-jury resume outside of his 1 week where he got rid of Janelle.
Yeah.
Ooh, Janelle, the person everyone was targeting. Like, he has nothing on his resume to sell to a final.
Can I counter that real quick?
You can try.
So we have to remember that Enzo is not a part of the committee. He is not in that 6. So I think that Enzo, if he gets to the end, he can say, yo, I was not in the committee, but I was the one that you guys were not willing to take out of everybody. And I skated by and I defeated the committee. Like, I lasted longer than everybody except for one person in the committee. I was the one that took out Janelle. Yes, like, that is a really good point still, considering how much they like glorified her and villainized her as this like huge threat in this game. I think that he is he can say that he's at the center at a lot of those alliances. Like, if you put all of these little alliances on like a big Venn diagram, I feel like Enzo is that one little piece that's like overlapping in the middle for everybody. Also, Enzo just has a very rootable story. He's a single father. He doesn't have a lot of money. If he's sitting at Tyler at the end and Tyler's talking about his vegan cookbook, I'm giving the money to Enzo.
I'm just going
I would agree with you on that front, but here's where I think you're wrong. Enzo's in a lot of alliances, but I believe he's the bottom of all of those alliances.
I don't think so. I really don't.
I see him as the bottom just because so many people have their number 1. And I really across the board, Enzo is like number 1.5 or 2. I don't see anyone left who's saying Enzo is my number 1 100% for certain.
Yeah, but is Enzo on anybody's radar to go home? I don't think so.
All it needs is Enzo on the block against the wrong person.
Yeah, but that is so situational compared to how easy it is to get everybody else out.
Tyler, it's fucking Big Brother. Everything is situational. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It's Big Brother. This is not Survivor where they can just vote off whoever they want whenever they want. The game is completely situational.
I really don't see a situation where Enzo goes anytime soon. Allison, what do you think?
I hope with my $20 that will be coming my way, I'll win.
I hope so.
We can talk about what you're going to do with that $20.
Allison, what are your thoughts?
I don't think Enzo is going anywhere. I'm giving him an 8 just because he's not the guy is just not going anywhere. There is no way. He is everybody's best friend. He's in everyone's ear, and he's doing it the right way. This is the game Danny should be playing, and she's not. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he is just skating by, whatever. He did get out Janelle, who was a big threat, who, if she had made it to the end, would have won the whole damn thing. But he had the guts to make that play and put her up. And he wants to make a big move. I believe if he had won, whoa, I just hit my mic. I do believe that if he won the veto this week, I think he would have used it. I think he would have really used it, and it would have been a big deal. And I wish it had happened. But I think as far as this triple goes, I think he's going to be along the line, he's going to be over with Memphis. I'm not trying to use age or anything, but us older people sometimes tend to remain calm and level-headed during extremely stressful situations. I'm going to get through this now. I'll panic when it's over. And, you know, it's like, think you may be going slow right now, but what is that story about the tortoise and the hare? The hare was going too fast, and the tortoise is the one who won the race. It's slow and steady, and you really have to think. And I think Enzo will not panic. He will do what needs to be done, and I think he will be the one to shake things up along with Memphis. And that's it.
Allison, I am very impressed with that analysis. I feel like I've trained you well. I totally.
And
I'm glad you trained me.
Removed from my league meltdown.
No, in terms of like, I feel like I'm the one that talks about strategy. I can't crack a joke like Allison can. You know, like I'm still learning that skill from her. But I totally agree with everything you're saying, Allison. That's my point. Is I'm also giving him an 8. The point I'm agreeing with you, Matt, that's docking points because I gave him a 10 last week. You're right. Like he does need a resume move like sooner rather than later. Now that we're in like the jury phase, but I agree. Like in the season where like the committee is winning everything, Allison's totally right. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I feel
think
like
Rory makes the best point when he says Enzo needs to clear out some people's number ones to be locked in. The triple will make or break his game.
Totally
and I
agree.
agree. If he doesn't get out certain people's number ones and then move into that slot, he's not winning.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be someone that I think people will have more priority over him.
All right. So that gives him a 6.3. So our ratings overall. So it looks like Enzo is in the top spot at 6.3. And then Memphis behind him at a 6.0. Cody at a 5.0. Man, like look at all these shitty scores.
Yeah.
And that's that's like I said at the beginning, I feel like everybody's just playing so terribly.
I think the reason the shitty scores came out this week for everyone is literally because the air has been completely sucked out of this game.
Yeah.
Like what can we hope for?
Right. And I have like the line graph like charting everybody's progress like across the season. Look at where we're at here on the end. Like the highest one is 6.3. Look how far away that is from 10 out of 10. Like we don't have like one single person that's like blowing everybody out of the water this season strategically, socially. So it's tough. It's tough, guys.
It's because we've had so much groupthink.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's been so much groupthink. And because people could have done something this week.
Yeah.
And they chose not to.
Yeah.
The group thing continues to reign supreme.
Yeah. All right. So let's lock in our official predictions. I'm going to bring up the draft just so that we have a visual of everybody going into this triple. I want to hear from you guys who you think is going. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. This is who I think. Okay, so I think the 3 people that are going will be obviously Kevin, David, and Christmas. Those are the 3 I think are going.
Matt, what do you think?
I definitely think one team will be gone by the end of the night, whether it's Team Beth or Team Alex. Because depending upon who wins HOH, which is always the cop out of the situation, I can see Kevin's leaving, so Alex loses one person. Depending upon who wins that first HOH, David could go or he could stay. Christmas could go or stay. You know, Tyler could go or stay depending upon who's HOH. Like, I don't see your team Tyler losing someone because I just assume Danny's going to win a veto. And there's no point in voting out Memphis right now. Nicole could go, but like I don't think she will, even though she annoys the hell out of me. So yeah, I think either Team Beth will be completely annihilated or Team Alex is going to be completely annihilated.
All right. That's interesting that it's like shaking out that way, right? So my prediction, and you guys know I'm a big Danny Donato fan in Big Brother. I think ultimately what we're going to see is Kevin goes home first. I think Danny will go home next. And I think Nicole will be behind her. And I would love to see that jury segment where Nicole walks into the jury of Ian, of Davon, of Kevin, and Danny. That would just be amazing, especially if Nicole has any part in backstabbing Danny in the triple, which is very possible. So there we have it. I mean, so we will be back live tomorrow after the triple eviction to see who is right, who is wrong, and I feel like one of us is going to be right because like all three of us have different directions in terms of where this is going to go.
It's going to be me.
We'll see. But thank you guys all for joining us tonight and participating in the chat. Of course, you can like and subscribe us on YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate and review us there. And also, we have a Patreon now. So if you like what you saw tonight and you would like to be a guest appearance on the show, like our amazing Patreon, Matt Henning today. Thank you. Definitely check us out on patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. Matt Henning, where can we find you on social media?
I can be found on Twitter at IceMystic1216. I sometimes am on Twitch. I have an Instagram at that same handle that I do not use, but I have like 30 some odd followers for whatever morbid reason.
I think my cat is one of them.
Yeah.
Allison, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Summers1977, SOMMERS 1977. Also on Instagram at My Weekly Meltdown and the.memphis.darling. And please subscribe to My Weekly Meltdown on YouTube. You'll get notifications when we go live with our videos. Also like our Facebook page if you want to, whatevs.
Yeah, whatevs. And you can find me everywhere at T Lions. So I'm sure I'll be tweeting like throughout the eviction, just because like this is like my Super Bowl. I just always love these like live evictions. They're always really fun to watch unfold. So we'll be back tomorrow, and also comment below who you think is going to be evicted in this triple eviction. We want to hear your thoughts on that as well. So everybody, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, wear a mask, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.